Alex was a young human soldier with sharp eyes and a steady hand. He had never visited the planet Eloria before, but now he stood at the edge of the alien city, feeling the weight of a new and important mission. The sky above him was a deep purple, filled with clouds that glowed softly in the light of two distant suns. All around, tall silver buildings rose up from the strange blue ground, their walls shining like crystal. Alex's heart beat faster as he walked toward the palace, not knowing what would happen next. The news of the missing princess had reached Earth just a week before. The Elorians were a powerful race, and their queen was known across the stars for her wisdom and strength. But now, her only daughter Lyra had vanished. Nobody knew if she was alive or lost forever. The queen had asked for help, and Earth had answered by sending a rescue team. Alex was chosen to lead the team because he had a reputation for never giving up. Alex and his team landed their small ship near the city. Alien guards, tall and dressed in bright armor, watched them carefully as they moved through the streets. Alex felt their eyes on him, but he kept his head high. He wanted to show respect. The palace gates opened and the guards led Alex and his team inside. The hall was wide and filled with light. Strange plants grew along the walls, giving off a gentle scent that Alex had never smelled before. At the end of the hall stood the alien queen. Her skin was a soft blue, and her long hair shimmered like silver water. She wore a robe that sparkled with tiny jewels. Her eyes, sad but strong, met Alex's. She thanked the humans for coming and told them how much Lyra meant to her and to all the people of Eloria. She explained that Lyra had left the palace during a storm, trying to help some villagers who were trapped by floods. After the storm, no one could find her. Some believed she was still out there, somewhere in the wild lands, but hope was fading. Alex listened closely. He promised the queen that he would not give up. He would search every part of the planet until he found Lyra or learned what had happened to her. The queen nodded, her voice shaking as she wished him luck. She told him about the dangers of the wild lands, the deep forests filled with hidden creatures, the rivers that ran fast and cold, and the sudden storms that could change everything. In minutes, Alex's team was made up of humans and a few Elorian volunteers. There was Olivia, the medic, who always had a calm voice. There was Ben, the navigator, who studied every map he could find. There was Myra, an Elorian scout with sharp eyes and quick feet. The team gathered supplies and planned their route. They would head into the western forest, the last place Lyra was seen. Some alien guards did not trust Alex and his team. They whispered that humans did not understand their ways. Alex tried not to let it bother him. He was here to help, not to fight. The first day in the wild lands was hard. The trees were tall and twisted, their branches making strange shadows on the ground. The team moved slowly, watching for signs of Lyra. They found footprints near a stream. Myra said they looked fresh. They followed the tracks deeper into the forest. Alex noticed marks on the trees, as if someone had grabbed the bark while climbing or running. Olivia found a piece of blue fabric caught on a thorn bush. Then checked their map and pointed to a narrow path leading toward the mountains. Alex felt hope rising in his chest. Maybe Lyra was still alive, but night came quickly on Eloria. The air grew cold and the sounds of the forest grew louder. Strange lights flickered among the trees. The team set up camp, taking turns to keep watch. Alex stayed awake, listening to the whispers of the wind. He thought about the queen's face, her eyes full of worry. He knew he could not let her down. The next morning, the team woke early. They searched along the stream, calling Lyra's name. Suddenly, Olivia called out. She had found more footprints, smaller and lighter than the others. Myra said these must belong to Lyra. They hurried along the path, moving deeper into the woods. The ground became rough and slippery. Branches scratched their faces and arms. Alex pushed on, his mind focused on the mission. As they climbed a small hill, then pointed to a spot where the grass was flattened. It looked like someone had rested there. There were signs of a small fire, now cold and covered with ash. Alex touched the ground. It was still a little warm. Lyra had been here, maybe only a few hours before. They searched the area, looking for any clue. Myra found a small piece of metal, shaped like a pendant. Olivia cleaned it and saw the Queen's symbol. It was Lyra's. Alex knew they were close. He told the team to be ready for anything. The wild lands were full of surprises. As they moved forward, they heard a strange noise, like something moving fast through the trees. The team stopped and listened. Alex raised his hand, signaling for silence. The sound faded, but Alex felt a shiver run down his spine. He wondered if they were being watched. Later that day, dark clouds gathered in the sky. A storm was coming. The team hurried to find shelter. They found a small cave at the base of a hill. Inside it was dry and warm. Alex used his flashlight to check the walls. He saw scratches, as if someone had been there recently. Olivia found an empty water bottle and a piece of bread. Ben said these were human supplies. Lyra must have passed through here. The storm outside grew stronger. Rain hammered the rocks and thunder shook the ground. Alex sat by the entrance, thinking about what to do next. He remembered the Queen's words about the sudden storms. He hoped Lyra had found shelter too. As he waited, Alex looked at the pendant in his hand. He wondered what Lyra was feeling, alone in the wild lands. When the storm ended, the team moved on. They crossed a river, holding on to ropes as the water rushed by. Myra found more footprints on the other side. The path led into a darker part of the forest. The trees were closer together, and the light barely reached the ground. Alex felt the air grow colder. He reminded everyone to stay together. They walked quietly, listening for any sign of danger or hope. As evening came, the team reached the edge of a wide clearing. In the center, they saw signs of a struggle: broken branches, torn ground, and drops of blood. Olivia knelt down and checked the blood. She said it was not much, maybe from a small wound. Alex searched the area and found more blue fabric, torn and dirty. Ben picked up a broken piece of a communicator. Myra looked at the marks in the dirt. She said it looked like someone had been dragged away. Alex's heart sank. He worried for Lyra, but he refused to give up. He told the team they would search all night if they had to. They followed the trail out of the clearing and into the trees. The path twisted and turned, but Alex kept moving forward. He thought about the promise he made to the Queen. He would not stop until he found Lyra. As the stars rose in the sky, Alex paused to catch his breath. He listened to the quiet sounds of the forest. Somewhere ahead, a lost princess was waiting. Alex knew he could not turn back now. He looked at his team, saw the hope in their eyes, and nodded. Together, they stepped into the darkness, ready to face whatever came next. Alex and his team moved carefully through the dark forest. Every step felt heavy, but they did not lose hope. The memory of the Queen's sad eyes pushed Alex forward. He thought about Lyra, the missing princess, alone somewhere in these wild lands. He wondered if she was hurt, scared, or still hoping someone would come for her. The forest was alive with strange sounds. Every now and then the wind made the leaves rustle and the trees creak. Olivia kept glancing over her shoulder, and Ben tightened his grip on the scanner he carried. Myra, the Elorian scout, moved at the front, her eyes searching for more clues. They followed the trail of broken branches and torn cloth deeper into the woods. The light grew dimmer. Sometimes Alex could barely see a few feet ahead. He told the team to keep close and stay quiet. Olivia checked their supplies and made sure everyone was okay. They were tired, but nobody wanted to rest. Suddenly, Myra stopped and held up her hand. She pointed to a spot ahead where the ground dipped, and the trees leaned close together. The team crouched and moved slowly. In the dim light, they saw something moving. Alex raised his hand, signaling the team to wait. He watched as a small creature, no bigger than a rabbit, hopped across the path. They let out a soft sigh of relief and kept going. After a while, the trail led them to a narrow ravine. The sides were steep and covered in moss. At the bottom, water rushed over sharp rocks. Ben studied the map and said they would have to cross if they wanted to keep following the clues. Alex nodded. They tied ropes to the nearest trees and climbed down carefully, one by one. The water was cold and the rocks were slippery. Olivia slipped and almost fell, but Alex caught her hand just in time. Together they made it across and started up the other side. On the far side of the ravine, Mira found more signs that someone had passed through recently. There were footprints in the mud and a handprint on a large stone. Mira said the handprint was too small to be from an adult. It had to be Lara's. Hope returned to the team. Alex smiled at Myra and thanked her for her sharp eyes. They pressed on, feeling a little stronger now. The forest started to thin out. The trees grew farther apart, and the sky above looked brighter. In the distance, they could hear water falling. Myra said there was a waterfall ahead. The team hurried toward the sound, thinking maybe Lara had gone there to find fresh water. As they walked, Alex looked at the pendant he still carried, the one with the Queen's symbol. He wondered if Lara had dropped it by accident or left it as a sign. At the waterfall, the team stopped to rest and drink. Alex studied the rocks near the water's edge. He saw a trail of small blue flowers leading away from the pool. Myra said these flowers were rare and Lyra liked to pick them as a child. The team followed the trail, moving faster now. Soon they found a spot where the flowers were crushed and mixed with bits of food. There was also a piece of torn cloth, blue and gold, just like the dress Lyra had worn. Ben picked up the cloth and handed it to Alex. "We're close," he said. Alex nodded, feeling hope and fear mixing in his heart. He told everyone to be careful and to keep watching for any danger. They moved quietly, following the trail into a small valley. The ground here was soft and their footsteps made almost no sound. In the middle of the valley stood a group of twisted trees. Mara pointed to a broken branch and a few drops of blood on the ground. She said someone had passed this way recently. And not alone. The team moved quickly but quietly. Olivia kept her hand on her medical kit, ready to help if needed. Ben scanned the area for life signs. The scanner beeped softly, showing a faint signal ahead. Alex led the team toward the signal, his heart pounding with every step. They came to a large fallen tree blocking the path. Beyond it, they saw a small cave, hidden behind thick vines and leaves. The scanner's signal was coming from inside the cave. Alex crept forward and listened. He heard a faint sound, like someone crying. He motioned for the team to wait and crawled inside. The cave was dark, but Alex turned on his small flashlight. In the back of the cave, he saw a figure huddled against the wall. It was Lyra. She looked tired, her blue dress torn and her hair tangled. Her face was dirty and her hands shook as she tried to hide from the light. "Lyra?" Alex said softly. Lyra looked up, her eyes wide with fear. She did not recognize him at first. Alex held up the pendant with the Queen's symbol. "Your mother sent me. I'm here to help." Lyra stared at the pendant and tears filled her eyes. She tried to stand but was too weak. Alex crawled closer and handed her some water. He spoke in a gentle voice, telling her she was safe now. Lyra took a sip of water and her hands shook. She looked at Alex, still unsure if she could trust him. Alex told her about the Queen, about the search, and about how everyone wanted her to come home. Olivia crawled into the cave and checked Lyra's wounds. She cleaned a cut on Lyra's arm and wrapped it with clean cloth. Ben stayed outside to watch for danger, and Myra stood by the entrance, listening for any sound. Lyra asked Alex if the Queen was really waiting for her. Alex nodded. He told her that the Queen had never given up hope. Lyra began to cry. She said she was scared and that she had tried to find her way back but got lost in the storm. She had hidden in the cave to stay safe from wild animals and the rain. Alex promised Lyra he would not leave her. He gave her food, and Olivia checked her for any more injuries. Lyra ate slowly and listened as Alex told her about Earth and what it meant to help others. Lyra was surprised that a human soldier would risk so much for someone he had never met. Alex smiled and said everyone deserves a chance to be safe. The team rested in the cave while Lyra regained her strength. Outside, Ben and Myra kept watch. The forest was quiet, but they stayed alert. Alex talked with Lyra, telling her stories about his family and his home. Lyra smiled for the first time in days. She told Alex about growing up in the palace, about The gardens and the funny stories her mother used to tell her before bedtime. As Lyra grew stronger, Alex planned the way back. He wanted to avoid the places where they had seen signs of struggle. He asked Myra to find the safest path. Olivia said Lyra would need to walk slowly at first. Alex promised to carry her if she got tired. Lyra nodded, her eyes shining with hope. For the first time, she believed she might really see her mother again. The next morning, the team prepared to leave the cave. Alex helped Lyra stand, and Olivia wrapped a warm blanket around her shoulders. Myra led the way, moving carefully and checking for danger. Ben watched the scanner, making sure there were no threats nearby. As they left the cave, Alex looked back one last time. He hoped this would be the hardest part of their journey. But he knew more dangers could wait ahead. As they walked through the forest, Lyra stayed close to Alex. She asked him many questions about humans and why they would come so far to help her. Alex said that helping others was what made humans strong. Lyra smiled and said she was glad Alex had found her. Alex promised he would not let anything happen to her. Together they moved forward, ready to face whatever challenges came next. Alex and his team pressed deeper into the alien forest, their footsteps muffled by thick layers of moss and fallen leaves. It was quiet but not peaceful. The team felt watched, as if the forest itself was keeping secrets from them. Every time a branch snapped or a bird called out, Olivia jumped a little. Myra kept looking back, her pointed ears twitching, while Ben checked his scanner again and again, searching for any sign of Lyra or danger. As dawn arrived, the team found themselves in a part of the woods where the trees grew tall and close, together, blocking most of the light. Alex noticed strange symbols carved into some of the trunks. Myra said these were old Elorian signs, warnings that wild animals lived nearby. The group moved carefully, trying to make as little noise as possible. Suddenly, they heard a faint cry ahead. Alex motioned for everyone to stop. He listened closely, holding his breath. The cry came again, softer this time. It sounded like someone in pain or calling for help. Alex signaled the team to follow him, and they moved quietly through the thick undergrowth. After a few minutes, they came upon a small clearing where the ground was torn up and muddy. There, on the far side of the clearing, was a cave half hidden by vines. The cry came from inside. Alex approached the cave slowly, keeping his voice low as he called out, "Lyra?" There was a pause, then a weak answer. "Who's there?" It was a girl's voice. Alex felt relief. He motioned for Olivia to come help. The two of them went inside, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. Lyra was huddled at the back of the cave, her dress torn and her arm bleeding from a shallow cut. She looked frightened and tired. When she saw Alex and Olivia, she drew back at first. Olivia knelt down, showing her hands to show she meant no harm. Alex held up the pendant with the Queen's symbol. "Your mother sent us," he said gently. "We're here to help." Lyra stared at the pendant, then at Alex's face. She began to cry, covering her face with her hands. Olivia moved slowly, checking the wound on Lyra's arm and giving her water. Lyra drank greedily, and after a few minutes she calmed down. She explained how she got lost after the storm, how she tried to find her way back, and how she had hidden in the cave when she heard strange animals nearby. Myra and Ben waited outside, keeping watch. Alex promised Lyra that she was safe now. He told her about her mother's message and how everyone back in the city was worried. Lyra looked at him with wide eyes. "Will she really be happy to see me?" she asked. Alex smiled. "She will. Be happier than you can imagine." They needed to leave the cave before more dangers arrived. Olivia helped Lyra stand, and Myra led the way back into the forest. Lyra was weak, but she tried to walk. Alex stayed close, ready to catch her if she stumbled. Ben checked the scanner for threats, and the team moved slowly, always listening and watching. Lyra told them about the strange animal that chased her, with bright green eyes and a long tail. Myra said it was a forest stalker, a dangerous predator that lived in these woods. The team moved quickly but quietly, not wanting to attract attention. The journey back was slow. The group stopped often to let Lyra rest. Olivia gave her water and checked her bandage. Sometimes Alex carried Lyra on his back when she was too tired to walk. Lyra was shy at first, but as they walked, she asked Alex questions about Earth, about humans, and about what it was like to be a soldier. Alex answered simply, telling her about his family, his home, and the reason he came to help. He said humans believe everyone deserves a chance to be safe, no matter where they are from. Lyra listened quietly. She told Alex about her mother, the queen, and about growing up in the palace. She said she always felt alone because of her special position. No one her age was allowed to play with her or be her friend. Alex listened, never judging, just understanding. He told her it was okay to feel lonely and that sometimes people just need someone to listen. The forest seemed endless. Once, the team came to a wide river, fast and cold. Ben found a spot where fallen logs made a bridge. Alex carried Lyra across, step by careful step, with Olivia and Myra following close behind. When they were all safely on the other side, Lyra looked up at Alex and smiled. It was the first real smile he had seen from her. It made all the effort worth it. As they continued, the sky began to darken. The team searched for a safe place to spend the night. They found a cluster of rocks that formed a small shelter, hidden from view. Myra made a small fire, and Ben checked the scanner one last time. All was quiet, except for the distant call of night birds. Lyra curled up next to Olivia, falling asleep quickly. Alex sat by the fire, thinking about everything that had happened so far. He knew they had a long way to go, but he felt hopeful for the first time. During the night, Alex took the first watch. He stared at the stars above the trees and thought about the promise he made to the Queen. He promised himself he would do whatever it took to bring Lyra back. As the fire burned low, Alex heard footsteps behind him. Myra sat down beside him. "You are different from the other humans I have met," she said softly. Alex smiled and said he was just doing his job. Myra nodded, but Alex could tell she respected him. In the morning, the team ate a simple meal and prepared to move on. Lyra was stronger now, and her steps were more steady. As they walked, Alex noticed the forest was growing lighter, and he could hear distant sounds of the city. Ben checked the scanner. They were getting closer to safety. Suddenly, Myra stopped. She held up her hand and pointed. In the distance, a group of figures was moving toward them. Alex looked through his binoculars and saw that they were not friendly. The uniforms were different. These were enemy soldiers, not part of the rescue mission. Myra said they belonged to a group that wanted to capture Lyra for ransom. Alex told the team to hide. They crouched behind a fallen log, holding their breath as the soldiers passed by. The enemy soldiers moved quickly, looking for any sign of Lyra. When they were gone, Alex led the team in a different direction, away from the soldiers. He whispered to Lyra that he would protect her no matter what. Lyra nodded, trusting him completely. They kept moving, hearts beating fast. Alex knew the journey was far from over, but for now they were safe. The promise he made to bring Lyra home felt closer than ever. The team walked together, stronger than before, ready to face whatever the wild lands had left to throw at them. Alex and his team moved quickly through the dense forest, guided by Myra's sharp eyes and Ben's scanner. The morning sun filtered through thick leaves, casting moving shadows on the ground. Lyra walked beside Alex, her steps steady now that she was stronger. She still looked at him with gratitude in her eyes. She knew he was risking his life for her. Suddenly, Myra held up a hand and pointed. Ahead they saw a small river crossing that led to a narrow path toward the city. The river was deep and fast, but Ben said they could cross there. Alex nodded. The team approached the riverbank quietly. The water rushed over smooth stones, making a loud roar. Alex tested the current with a small stick, then looked at his team. "We move together," he said. "Stay close." They tied ropes between trees to make a guideline across the water. Alex helped Lyra step onto a slippery rock. She nearly lost balance, but Alex held her hand. Step by step, they crossed. Myra and Olivia followed, and Ben carried the pack with supplies. Alex was last. When he reached the bank, he saw Lyra breathe a sigh of relief. She looked at him and smiled. He felt hope again. The path beyond the river climbed gently. The trees grew thinner, and in the distance Alex could see the tall spires of the palace. We're close, he whispered. They quickened their pace, moving with more confidence. But danger was still near. Alex had not forgotten the enemy soldiers. They saw before as they neared a bend in the path. Alex spotted movement. A group of guards from the city was blocking the way. They raised their weapons and shouted for the team to stop. Alex held up his hands. "We are with the Queen," he called out. "We have the princess." The guards looked at each other. One stepped forward. "We do not know you," he said. "Show your orders." Alex reached into his jacket and pulled out a sealed scroll. The seal bore the Queen's symbol. He held it up where the guards could see. The lead guard examined it and nodded. "Very well," he said. "But we will escort you back." Lyra stepped forward. "Mother sent them," she said, her voice trembling. "Please let them pass." The guard lowered his weapon and motioned for the group to move. Alex thanked him quietly. The escort led them along a narrow trail that cut through the woods. Alex had to keep Lyra close. He noticed that the guard in front had a stern face and watched them carefully. Alex understood. Even in the Queen's city, there were those who did not trust humans. They reached the palace gates. The gates were massive, made of white stone carved with images of the Queen and her daughter. The guard at the gate called for help. Soon, palace guards arrived, and the escort dropped back. Alex and his team walked through the gates. The city was as silent as if everyone waited in hushed fear. Buildings with shining walls reflected the sunlight, and strange birds flew above. Inside the palace courtyard, a small group of citizens had gathered. When they saw Lyra, they gasped. Some knelt, some cried, and some whispered. Alex led Lyra toward the main doors. The Queen would be waiting. As they entered the throne room, the Queen stood up from her seat. Her face lit up when she saw her daughter. "Lyra!" she cried, her voice full of relief and joy. The Queen hurried forward and wrapped her daughter in a tight embrace. Tears fell down the Queen's cheeks as she held Lyra close. Lyra knelt and then embraced her mother. "Mom, I'm back." "He saved me," she said, her voice shaking. The Queen looked at Alex. Her eyes were full of gratitude and wonder. "Thank you," the Queen said, her voice soft. "You have done more than save my daughter. You have given me hope." Alex bowed his head. He felt the weight of her words and the eyes of everyone in the room on him. The Queen then addressed the court. "My people, today we saw the courage and kindness of humans. This soldier did not know my daughter, but he risked everything to find her and bring her home. Let this be a reminder that friendship and trust can cross any boundary. From today on, we will unite our people with Earth." Murmurs spread through the room. Some writers of fear shook their heads, but most faces showed wonder and hope. The Queen invited Alex to stand beside her. She placed a delicate crown on his head, the crown of honor for those who serve the realm. Alex felt surprised and proud. After the ceremony, the Queen led Alex and his team to a banquet hall filled with food from both worlds. Tables overflowed with dishes of bright fruits, roasted meats, and colorful breads. There were also human treatscakes, cookies, and pies that Alex had brought as part of his supplies. Lyra laughed as she tasted a sweet pie for the first time. During the feast, the Queen asked Alex to tell his story. He spoke of the forest, the storms, and the promise he made. He told of Lyra's strength and courage. The court listened quietly. When he finished, the Queen thanked him again, and the room filled with applause. Later that evening, Alex and Lyra walked together in the palace garden. The garden was lit by soft lights that looked like stars hanging from the trees. Flowers of all colors bloomed. Lyra turned to Alex. "I was so scared," she said. "I thought I would never see you again." Alex smiled. "I promised I would find you. I meant every word." Lyra nodded. She looked at him with gratitude. "You taught me that kindness matters," she said. "I will never forget that." Alex felt a warmth in his heart. He realized that this mission had changed him too. He had learned about the Elorian people, their strength and their fears. He had formed a bond with Lyra he would never forget. Inside the palace, the Queen watched them from a window. She whispered to herself, "Thank you, Alex, for bringing my daughter home." She knew this was the start of a new friendship between their worlds. As the night grew deeper, Alex returned to his quarters. He thought about the next steps: building trust, sharing knowledge, and keeping the peace. He knew the work was not over. But for now he could rest, knowing he had kept his promise, and so, Part 4 of the story ends with hope and the beginning of a new era as Alex's actions bring two worlds closer together. After the banquet, Alex woke early and prepared for a busy day. The palace had arranged meetings with council members and diplomats. Lyra wanted to be with her mother, but she said she must help Alex share their story. Alex agreed, and together, they walked through the palace halls. The first meeting was in a bright room with tall windows. Elorian council members sat around a long table. Their faces were serious. Some nodded at Alex, but others looked doubtful. The queen introduced Alex and Lyra, and then Alex spoke. He told them how he found Lyra in the cave, how he kept his promise, and how teamwork brought them back. He spoke simply and honestly, looking each person in the eye. When he finished, Lyra spoke too. She described her fear, her hope, and her new view of humans. The council members listened quietly. After a moment of silence, one council member stood. He was tall, with silver hair and stern eyes. He asked Alex why humans risked so much for an alien princess. Alex answered that humans believe in kindness and hope. He said that helping others makes the universe stronger. The council member nodded slowly, then sat down. Others thanked Alex and Lyra for their honesty. The queen smiled proudly. Next, Alex met with diplomats from Earth who had arrived on Eloria. They wore uniforms and carried devices that glowed softly. Alex showed them places where the rescue took place, explaining the dangers and how the team worked together. Lyra walked with them, sometimes pointing to the forests and rivers. She said she wanted to help other lost travelers in the future. The diplomats listened and took notes. They asked Alex to write a full report. Alex agreed, knowing this report could prevent future tragedies. Later, Alex and Lyra visited the palace library. It was vast, with many scrolls and glowing data crystals. Lyra wanted to understand Earth better, so she asked Alex to read human history. He chose a simple book about Earth's peace treaties. Lyra listened with curiosity. She said she wanted her people to learn from humans, to build a true friendship. Alex smiled and promised to teach her more. As the day passed, news of Alex's actions spread throughout the city. People gathered in the streets, waving small flags of Earth and Eloria. Some children wore human-style helmets and mimicked Alex's salute. Merchants displayed new items with human influence. The city felt alive with hope. Alex stood on a balcony with the queen, looking down at the crowd. He felt proud, but also humble. He knew his role was only beginning. That evening, Alex and Lyra returned to the garden. The lights glowed softly on the path. Lyra said she wanted to plant a tree to mark the day she came home. Alex helped her, digging a small hole and placing a young sapling into the ground. He patted the soil and said, "This tree will grow strong, like our friendship." Lyra nodded, smiling through her tears. She wished the best for their worlds. The next morning, Alex met with scientists from both planets. They discussed technology exchanges, medical research, and shared knowledge of the forests. Olivia joined them, offering medical supplies and techniques that helped heal Lyra. Myra explained local plants that had healing powers. Together, they planned joint teams to explore and learn. Alex felt a sense of promise, that both worlds could help each other, yet not everyone was happy. A group of traditionalists met in secret. They whispered that humans could take over Eloria, that their kindness was a cover for control. They planned to stop the alliance. Alex learned of their plans from Myra. He understood that trust needed time. He asked the queen to allow him to speak to these worried citizens. Alex went to the traditionalists under guard. He did not carry a weapon. He stood before them and spoke from his heart. He said he came with respect and without secrets. He described the hardships of his mission, the dangers he faced, and how he only wanted to help. He told them to judge him by his actions, not by fear. Slowly, some softened. They agreed to meet with him again and hear more. Alex felt that this was a step forward. As the sun set, Alex walked alone through the palace gardens. He thought about the journey so far and the work ahead. He knew the final steps would be hardest, turning hope into lasting peace. He looked at the stars and whispered, "I will not stop." Back in the palace, Lyra prepared for a ceremony to celebrate the new alliance. She invited Alex and his team. They would plant more trees in the royal grove. Alex knew this was the moment when two worlds truly came together. He felt ready, but also aware that danger could return. He looked at the trees saved and the lives touched, and he smiled. He had kept his promise, and he would keep it again. If needed. And so, Part 5 ends with plans for unity, the first roots of a new friendship taking hold, and the promise of challenges yet to come. The next morning, Alex woke before sunrise, his mind filled with plans for the day. Today was special. It was the day the Queen would send him back to Earth. He packed his few belongings and prepared his report. Lyra appeared at his door holding a small gift. She handed him a hand-woven bracelet of silver thread and pale blue beads. Alex smiled and tied it on his wrist. "This will remind you of Eloria," she said softly. They walked together to the throne room. Along the way, citizens bowed or waved as they recognized Lyra and her human friend. Alex felt a mix of pride and sadness. He had grown attached to this world and to Lyra. He knew he would miss them. In the throne room, the Queen waited. Behind her stood council members and diplomats from Earth and Eloria. The Queen spoke first. "Alex, you have done more than save my daughter. You have shown my people the power of kindness and courage. For that, we are forever grateful." She paused and looked at Lyra. "My daughter, do you wish to say goodbye to our friend?" Lyra stepped forward, her eyes bright with tears. "Thank you, Alex," she said. "You saved me and became my friend. I will never forget what you have done." She moved closer and hugged him. Alex hugged her back, feeling her warmth and friendship. The Queen raised her hand. Two palace guards brought forward a small chest. Inside was a badge of honor, made of blue crystal and silver. The Queen placed it on Alex's chest. "By the power of Eloria, I grant you the title of Honorary Protector," she declared. The court applauded. Alex bowed deeply. "Thank you, Your Majesty," he said. "I am honored." His voice shook slightly with emotion. After the ceremony, the Queen led Alex and Lyra to a private balcony overlooking the city. The sky was noon bright, and two suns shone high. "Alex," the Queen said, "you have set a new path for our worlds. We will form a council of both humans and Elorians to keep peace and share knowledge. Will you serve as our first representative?" Alex felt his heart swell. He thought of Earth and his own duty there. But he also thought of Lyra and this new friendship. He held Lyra's hand and looked at the Queen. "I will serve," he said. "I promise to do my best for both our people." The Queen smiled and released his hand. She signaled the guards, and they led Alex to a waiting spacecraft painted with both the Earth and Elorian flags. Inside, he found the human diplomats packing their devices. The ship's engines hummed quietly. Alex looked around and nodded to the crew. He climbed into the pilot's seat. Before liftoff, Lyra pressed a small flower into his hand. "My mother's garden," she said. "Planted on Earth so our worlds can grow together." Alex tucked the flower carefully into his pocket. The hatch closed and the engines roared. Alex steered the ship upward. As they left the palace grounds, he looked down at Eloria. The city shimmered like a jewel on the blue soil. The palace, the forests, and the gardens faded slowly behind him. During the journey home, Alex wrote his report and shared stories with the diplomats. He spoke of Lyra, of the storms, and of the promise he made. They recorded every detail. Olivia and Ben slept, exhausted but proud. Alex checked the bracelet on his wrist and the flower in his pocket. He knew these would be reminders of what he had learned. After many hours, the ship entered Earth's atmosphere. Alex guided them to a smooth landing at the spaceport. They stepped onto the ground and were greeted by cheers from officials and civilians. Banners welcomed the heroes home. Alex felt the wind of Earth on his face, familiar and comforting. The human leader met Alex and shook his hand. Welcome back, soldier. We have much to learn from your mission. Alex nodded and saluted. Reporters asked questions and Alex answered. Simply and honestly. In a private room, Alex opened the small chest the Queen had given him. The badge of honor glowed softly in the dim light. He pinned it on his uniform. Then he took the flower from his pocket and potted it in a small container. He placed it on his desk where he could see it every day. Weeks passed. Alex attended meetings with the new Council of Humans and Elorians. He learned their language better and helped create plans for cultural exchanges and scientific research. He introduced Earth medicine to Eloria and brought back knowledge of alien plants for study on Earth. The bracelet on his wrist reminded him of Lara's friendship. One evening, Alex received a message from Lyra. She wrote that she had planted a human tree in the royal garden and that it was growing strong. She sent a small crystal shard as a gift. Alex held it up to the light, thinking of Eloria. He placed the shard next to the flower pot. He knew that both worlds had changed. They had faced fear and danger together. They had learned kindness and hope, and they had built a bridge that could last for generations. Alex looked at the sky through his window. The stars twinkled like distant suns. He whispered, "Thank you, Lyra. Thank you, Eloria. Thank you, Earth. Together, we are stronger." And with that, he turned off the light and rested, ready for the work of a lifetime. Thus ends Part 6 of the story, where promises are kept, alliances are formed, and two worlds begin a new chapter of friendship and peace.